And our next storyteller is Kat Charlesworth.
The name of the story is called The Badass and the Chicken. I grew up in Prescott, and all right, okay, just put it right here. I grew up in Prescott, and I was finished with high school early. I was promoted a grade above. And when I was 16 years old, I found myself in my very first apartment in Phoenix. And I was too young and naive to realize exactly what kind of neighborhood I was in. It wasn't really bad then, but I wouldn't live there now. I was working a temporary job going from a nursing agency, from nursing home to nursing home. And back up, growing up, we were taught that everything on the outside has to look very perfect. And my favorite line of my dad's is, "Quit your crying or I'm going to give you something to cry about." There's never any parameters for this emotional display. So we grew up thinking that we were not allowed to cry. We were not allowed to show any emotion at all, which is like the result was resting bitch face. And I moved into this apartment with several other people. When the lease was running up, I applied for art school, was accepted, and the other people had moved out, and it was just me and then at that time my future husband. And I came home at 1 o'clock in the morning. He was at work. I had been taking weird hour shifts because night shift differential is a lot more money than regular day shift. And at that point, at 16 and living on my own, I needed the money. There was a small .22 caliber pistol in my medicine cabinet that was put there by one of my roommates. And at the time, when I first saw it, I questioned this, thinking, what the hell is there doing a gun in the medicine cabinet? I do not want to blow my face off while I'm brushing my teeth. But I was told, just leave it, you never know. So on this one occasion, as we were about to move out, there's no furniture in the house except for a chair and my bed and some clothing. I unlock the door. I go to my bedroom, I get undressed, throw on a bathrobe, go in the bathroom and pee, and I see this movement out of the corner of my eye. And I had two little ferrets that ran around. They were litter box trained, so I was used to seeing their little shadows, but nothing this high. And it kind of made me do a double take, and I stopped peeing miraculously. I don't know how that happens. I can't do that now. But a couple seconds later, I noticed that that movement was a hand. And right then and there, and I would try to imitate it, but I can't. Not before or since have I ever heard a sound like this leave my body. But I screamed so loud that I scared myself and this ginormous building of a man who had turned and come into the doorway of the bathroom, leaving me nowhere to run, nowhere to go, and I'm naked in a bathrobe, halfway done peeing. I don't know how I didn't pee on the floor, but I didn't. I don't remember doing that anyway. This calm came over me, and I don't know where that came from either, because I just reached up and I flipped that medicine cabinet open and I put that gun in his face. I could smell tobacco. I could smell alcohol. I could smell that nervous hoagie onion sweat. And I mean, this guy was big. I'm not a small person. I was this tall when I was 13. And he filled up the doorway. And I just calmly, I think I was calm. I felt calm. Put the gun in his face and I told him to get the F out of my house or I was going to blow his effing head off. And I walked him all the way out of the apartment. And as he got to the door was locked, because I had locked it behind me when I came in, and I told him, you're going to have to unlock that door. And when you exit, you're going to lock it back up and shut it behind you. And he said, if I remember correctly, this has been a long time ago, don't shoot me. And he turned and he unlocked the door and he locked it and he shut the door behind him. And I fell on the floor. Now, this is back in 1984 or 5-ish. We had just gotten 911 in Phoenix. I couldn't remember those 3 numbers to save my life. We had just had the phone shut off because we were moving out. No cell phones then. The apartment complex was very dark. There was a pool in the middle and a payphone past the pool. All I'm wearing is a gun and a bathrobe. And I had to summon that strength that Lee spoke about, that voice that said, get to the phone. And I ran. I don't know if I closed my bathrobe or not, but I ran to the phone, and the only number that I could remember was my then boyfriend's work phone number. And I called him. He was a dispatcher at an ambulance company, so he knew how to be calm. I did not. And I'm on the phone saying, there's guys in the apartment. Blah, 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 blah. And he said, do you have a gun? And I said, I do. He said, put it down. I said, no. And he said, the police are going to come. Put the gun down. I said, no. And he said, all right, I'll tell them you have it. Don't shoot them. And so I stood there shaking on the phone until the cops got there. So they led me back into the apartment, and they're doing their little investigation, and I'm still like shaking and sobbing and can't believe what had just happened. It scared the Jesus out of me. And we hear this commotion in the back of the apartment. They caught the guy getting back into the apartment through my bedroom window. So I'm really glad I didn't find the ending of that story. Just a couple months later, I had agreed to take care of greyhounds that my friend raced for a living. And I had bought a travel trailer, and for exchange for power and water and utilities, I was going to take care of these dogs, let them out, feed them, water them, do what needs to be done. Again, another night shift. I came home, and the trailer that I was living in was probably from me to the bar, away from the kennels were about from me to the bar, away from the trailer. And inside the kennels was about me to the bar, full of cages, one on top of the other. There's 15 dogs on each side, and there's 2 sides to the kennel. So I open all the doors, let all the dogs out into the yard that's fenced off. I start gathering bowls and, food and whatever. And I turned, and on the back row of the back wall of the kennel is about 4 gazillion bags of dog food, big giant bags. And I see this figure sit up. Now this time I had a bigger gun. But from me to the bar, I reverted right back to my childhood instinct. And rather than being calm like the bathroom, I panicked. I threw that gun. I turned around and I ran. I didn't think about it. I just ran. And I ran back to my trailer, slammed the door. There's no phone in there, but I'm screaming, I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to call the cops. And this man, who was apparently just homeless, was yelling through the window, I'm putting your gun on the step. I'm not here to hurt you. I just needed a place to sleep. And I'm not going to shoot you. Just come out. And he says, all those dogs got out. There was 60 altogether. So now another type of horror hit me. Oh, shit. I'm at 7th Street in Buckeye. I don't know if any of you have been there in the 80s, but the police didn't go there after dark. And so I had to lock or grab a hold of that fear. I had to open the door and face that person who meant me no harm, but I did not know that at the time. And he helped me get the dogs back into the kennel. And he became my friend. I let him sleep in there, and I just told him, listen, in case I ever have a real reaction, let me know if you hear me coming so I don't shoot you. But looking back and telling this story in rehearsals and whatever, the thing that keeps coming to me is when I was 16, I knew everything. You could just ask me, I'd tell you. I'm still kind of like that now, but worse then. I knew that I would be okay because I was 16 and, I had the world by the ass. What I didn't know that the things that should have scared me didn't. And luckily, I survived it. But I'm very grateful for the experience because it taught me that no matter what you think you know, no matter what you think you're going to react to, it's never like you plan. Okay, you're going to have to do this so I don't.
All right. Okay. So that's the last story before the break. A little bit about Kat. Obviously, she mentioned that she's lived here in Prescott since she was 7 years old. So good long time. It's about as closest thing to a native as we get around here. This times. What? Get closer to the mic. How's this? Okay, good. Kat told me she studied photojournalism, but then realized she had to eat. So after flunking her photography class here, she went on to other things. She loves to snack on salami, vegetable, and cream cheese sandwiches. Does anybody just like hot dogs, Her Kat's special talent, wait for this, she can make a whole chocolate cake disappear. Her role model growing up was her uncle, who was a Navy SEAL. Yes. She said he was brilliant and taught her philosophy and existentialism. And I asked her if she was a TP over or under person, and she said she didn't care as long as it was there.